Hello and welcome to Matt and Steve's Amazing Week. This week we're doing actually a video game review, and we're going to be reviewing Gran Turismo 5 for the PlayStation 3. So yeah, we're just waiting for it to install. It's got a little install to do first, and then we're going to have a play.
Yeah, we'll tell you what we think about it. But first we're going to have a cup of tea while it installs.
Yes, just have a cup of tea. Do you want to put the kettle on while
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect.
If I'd known what I know now, I never would have pushed a button on that kettle. I would have just run out the door. I would have kept on running and running.
November the 25th was a day like any other for Matthew Lees and Steve HOGARTY. But when they decided to install a new simulation interactive car racing game on their Sony console computer, they were to set in motion a chain of events that were to change their lives for the rest of the evening.
So we just got this new game on the PlayStation and we started installing it, and you know, I suggested we have a cup of tea while it installed. It's something I've been doing for most of my life. You know, you get a new game, you put it into your computer, and you think it's going to take a little while, so I'll have a cup of tea. So I said to Steve, should we have a cup of tea? So Steve said, yeah, that's a great idea. And you know, Steve went off and he made the cup of tea and came back, and we had a cup of tea.
First, I mean, we sat down, we had our first cup, and it really looked like it had moved. We thought it had moved. At the time, it looked like it had been moving. I think Matt said maybe a pixel.
By a pixel.
So we finished the first cup by then, and Matt turned to me and Matt said, "Do you want another cup of tea?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll put the kettle on."
We'd had a cup of tea and it was still going, and so we thought, well, we'll just have another cup of tea. So I said, you know, do you want another cup of tea? And Steve said, yeah, I'll put the kettle on. One cup of tea just led to another cup of tea, and another cup of tea, and another cup of tea.
Game's installing, you have a cup of tea. I don't think we did anything wrong at first. But yeah, that's what people do, right? That's what people do.
Tea.
Fantastic.
I came back and Matt had said something like, it's at 47%, Steve, it's at 47%.
Did it just go back from 47 to 46? Did it just go back? I think it went back one.
It was never on 47.
I remember specifically when it got to about 47%, I started to feel a bit strange. I can't remember how many cups of tea I'd had exactly, but it felt like I'd had too many.
By the third cup, they were already thinking this is more tea than we'd wanted to drink. By the fifth, things were getting out of hand. Before they knew it, our boys were in way over their heads. In way over their heads, in tea.
The installation was taking quite a while, but I've always remembered that sometimes, you know, that they get quite far, and then suddenly they just jump up at the end.
I think at the end though, where it kind of gets to about halfway minutes.
Maybe, just maybe, it will get to the halfway point and it will jump forwards.
So we thought we'd have another cup of tea.
Matt said, let's make more tea, let's make more tea, let's make more tea. We drank more tea, we drank more tea. We drank all the tea, until eventually, we can't even remember what happened.
Tea comes from China.
We'd run out of cups.
We just started using the old ones. I don't know why we didn't use the same 2 cups for the whole time. We just didn't. When we realised we were out of cups, Steve got very angry. He just kept shouting at me saying, make the tea, make the tea.
Steve, I made you tea.
Steve,
The tea's here. Make the tea!
Yeah. But he just kept screaming, he just kept shouting, make the tea, make the tea.
The tea! Make the tea! Make the tea!
That's really the point where it felt like things were starting to get out of control.
It was at this point that they realised something was extremely wrong.
After the incident with Steve shouting at me, I was I was saying to him, you make the cup of tea for me. I want a cup of tea. But he just wouldn't make me a cup of tea. And I just kept asking, please, Steve, just make me a cup of tea. But he just wouldn't. He just wouldn't listen.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
Matt thinks we had an argument. Matt claims he had an argument with me. I wasn't in the room when that happened. Steve tells us that he wasn't actually there when you were saying that.
Steve! Just...
To be honest, I just sort of blacked out.
Sure, I want another cup of tea. I'll have lots of tea. I'll drink all the tea. Sure enough, we drank all the tea.
The tea is gone. There's no tea.
What do you mean there's no tea? I don't mind. I don't care.
It all came to a head when Matt just started listing cars. He started listing cars that he owned, races that he'd won. The game hadn't even finished installing. And by this point the wheels had come off our car. And the trousers had come off Matt.
I don't blame Sony PlayStation. I don't blame the men who make these racing games, these computer simulation racing games. But I do feel that we were betrayed that day. Betrayed by installations, perhaps, and definitely caffeine. We haven't spoken since, me and Steve. I haven't seen him since, really. And it's been hard. It's been hard.
Since that day, I haven't spoken to Matt. He hasn't spoken to me. We don't want to speak to each other anymore.
Is there anything you'd like to say to him now?
No, nothing.